Hi, and welcome back to CLOSEUP. In Thinking Differently, CLOSEUP is so proud to present two sessions that are at the forefront of creative innovation, sustainability, and design for good, using design to make change. The initiative is called Eco-Solidarity, involving 8 countries and regions, focusing on social impact and sustainable materials, climate change, public health, and process. Before we get going, I know you saw the turf video before, but I want to give a big shout out to another company that's using sustainable materials and acoustic design in such beautiful ways, Turf, who is our not only created this backdrop, but is also our Day 2 presenting sponsor. So thank you again to them. Hope you enjoyed the video. So back to Eco-Solidarity. It was started in 2020 by the Polish Cultural Institute of New York and Studio Reykjavik in collaboration with the one and only Wanted Design as a multidisciplinary hybrid project, initiative, and movement that seeks to find unity and solidarity through design. This year's edition is produced and presented in partnership with the European Union National Institutes for Culture. And we're just so excited to have this session and the next session. You'll see 8 firms, 4 in each, that are making a difference. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Eco-Solidarity Advisory Committee member, Adriana Blideru, curator and founding editor of Living Content. And she's here to shed light on the project overall. So Adriana, welcome to CLOSEUP. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
So can you tell us how you got involved and the importance of eco-solidarity, especially in today's world?
Sure. So I am actually a curator and a cultural producer, and my interest and my passion overall is to really spotlight cultural producers, designers, and artists that really are striving to make a difference. And I have actually been working with a lot of institutions, including the Romanian Cultural Institute here in New York, who recommended me to be on this panel and to judge the participants.
What was that like?
Yeah, it was really, really interesting. I think, I was exposed to such amazing projects. All 8 projects were absolutely fantastic. And I think I learned so much through the process of just being exposed to them. And I'm really excited for everyone to see what these projects are about.
Yeah, they're quite incredible. So.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right. So let's get to the first session then of the Eco-Solidarity movement. We want to welcome 4 studios. We have AHA Objects, EOS Next, Atelier Adhoc, and HerrmannCoufal. We have a video for each and then a quick follow-up with the designers, and then we're going to turn it into a larger Q&A, so please share your comments and questions. So first up is AHA Objects. Narrative designer and architect Anna Horvath founded AHA Objects and is currently focused on cultural commentary on construction waste in Malta. Anna, welcome to CLOSEUP.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
So good to see you. So let's have a look at your project, and then we'll come back.
I'm Anna Horvath, and I'm a founder of AHA Objects and the designer and maker of Sorgi. I'm a narrative designer and architect working in the field of exhibition design, installation, and furniture design. AHA is a playful world of colors, textures, and narratives. The designs aim to be more than pure functional objects. There is often a hidden social, cultural, environmental, or political commentary embedded in my objects. I'm Hungarian, and I came to Malta at the first time 10 years ago because I won a competition and the prize was 2 weeks in Malta. Throughout this time, I have lived in London, Berlin, Lisbon, and in Hungary, but always came back to the island and worked here as an architect. I have seen the changes of the architectural landscape in Malta. Consequent to the booming construction industry, many amazing buildings with great architectural value is getting demolished, such as the Greenhouse, the Roxy Cinema, the Marsa Power Station, or Tarita in Arlapsi. There is an enormous amount of construction waste that has been piled up on the island which has been not reused. While we are running low in natural resources, valuable materials are thrown away. Sorgi is a critical statement and an ongoing research project about opportunities for circularity in Malta. Sorgi is literally an invitation to sit down, originated from the Maltese word sorgia. The 6-piece outdoor collection is made of recycled construction waste and will be placed into public spaces around the island. Each bench is representing a building that has been affected by the booming construction industry. I'm collaborating with 6 local councils where we have selected 6 buildings to create a memory of. The original building inspired the color, the form, the structure, and the material of the benches. I have mapped out where waste is accumulating on the island. We looked at quarries, construction companies, and suppliers as well. Throughout the process, we are creating material samples for each bench where we test colors, textures, then we are creating a stool before making the final bench. The piece is going to be placed outside, therefore they have to be long-lasting and weather-resistant. Terrazzo, a material that has its roots in the Maltese-built environment, is one of the most sustainable material, which is using chips of glass and marble that all came from offcuts of suppliers. We are creating pieces from geopolymer concrete, which is more environmental friendly, using fly ash instead of traditional Portland cement. The fly ash is actually coming from the Marsa Power Station and will be used for the bench design of Marsa. There will be a colorful plate on all benches, leading the visitors to an online platform, the website of Sorgi, that will showcase the photos and information of the building. After the implementation of the first 6 pieces, I would like to continue and involve more local councils by creating memories of buildings as a critical statement. I deeply believe in collaboration, and there is a great team behind Sorgi.
Anna, that was so fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing. You're obviously helping to, in part, preserve Malta's cultural heritage, but it's a mix of storytelling, change, and public awareness. Can you talk a little bit more about what is your main message?
Well, I think there's like many layers of messages in this project, and one of the main and most important that we need to create circular economy, and it's in the construction industry in Malta, and because we are running out of natural resources, and there's no space in the quarries like anymore. Also, we have to create a system and a network. That's what we are trying to do with Sorgi, which has all the players of the industry, such as the quarries, such as the construction companies and the suppliers as well, and also private people. And more efficient we are, like more players are involved in this process, in this system, more beneficial it's going to be for the whole country. And I really believe that in this way we can create something really beneficial, not only for the country, but like also for the community, and while we can like teach them for the importance of the heritage and preserving our cultural heritage and built environment.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. We'll come back to you at the end for the Q&A. We're going to move on to EOS Next, and we're going to meet Lati Christoferic of EOS Next, who uses design thinking to solve huge challenges, such as safe and sustainable sanitation solutions for those who lack access. Her vision is to empower local craftspeople around the world to integrate passive urine separation technology into toilets that may be produced locally, while promoting a new business model, such as urine reuse into natural fertilizer. Let's take a look at this innovative idea.
here, got a gentle bend into there and around. A3, first A3 is this one here. And that one goes right on the top.
Lottie, that was incredible. Such an incredible breakthrough. Thank you so much for sharing that. So how did you manage the project? Is it scalable, and what is your ultimate vision? Tell us more.
So thank you so much for having me. It's very exciting being live in New York in a way. As you saw, we are based in Vienna, and traveling has been hard for us. So this also affected the scalability of this project. This open design mode project was developed during last year's first COVID-related lockdown. We decided to integrate the urine trap technology that has been initially funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation into an open design urine diverting dry toilet that can be produced locally. So as you saw in the videos, we managed to have a first demo production in Durban, South Africa, where in a co-creation process, the local craftspeople managed to improve and iterate the design and give feedback. We could then further improve, and currently we started another field test in Nepal, in Chitwan, where these toilets are being integrated in 13 households. So this is a first go into scaling up and also implementing on site, which is a very big step for us. And which is also really nice is that for the first time, urine is going to be used as a fertilizer in this local rural community.
Well, amazing. Just so innovative, and can't wait to dive in more later with you. So thank you so much for being here. Next up, we're going to move to Atelier Adhoc with our dynamic duo, founding partners Maria Daria Anse and George Marinescu have developed an architecture practice focused on mutations regarding public space, living conditions, and social vulnerability. Based in Romania, this current project responds to needs in a temporary night shelter with innovative solutions that serve the homeless and surrounding community in thoughtful and unique ways. So let's take a look at this incredible project.
My name is Daria Wansa. I'm an architect, and together with George Marinescu, I'm co-founder of Atelier Adhoc, a Bucharest-based architecture practice. We work together in the framework of a dual practice consisting of an architecture studio and an NGO, dealing with the shifting conditions of the city we work and live in. The work of the studio is related to housing production and building industry, working with and within the pre-existing built environment. while the NGO engages with spatial and social vulnerability, focusing on marginalized communities. For us, it is important to record the living environment that a city or a society is producing in order to understand how us as architects can act to improve these conditions and also not reinforce power structures that would lead to more inequality or unsustainable growth.
We use our design knowledge and time in between those two entities, and this redistribution of resources gives us the opportunity as practitioners to bring our work in areas that are generally outside public concern. Our aim is to make our architecture more inclusive and more accessible to people from different backgrounds, like homeless people or people living in extreme poverty. We use Bucharest as a research laboratory, as a learning environment for our project to test different things.
We are interested in developing micro-narrative investigations around our areas of interest. We look at how people facing homelessness or poverty develop networks of extended living situations in order to sustain their everyday existence. These self-formulated reactions to questions of their environment construct a safety perimeter that allows for adaptation and resilience. They describe the city and its infrastructure as means of survival and the body as primary resource. We make spatial interventions as swift actions in reaction to encountered situations. They're instant tests developed with a sense of urgency and responsibility. The series of prototypes that we build consolidate pre-existing networks of survival by responding to basic needs while also remaining adaptable to new situations.
We are in the southern part of Bucharest for our project Substandard Plus. The intervention is developed on the property limit, and it creates a sort of a liminal space that transforms the former fence into a space with multiple uses. In response to the lack of personal storage inside the shelter, we develop a series of 48 storage units that are placed on the limit and can be accessible both from inside and outside. And you can have individual access to personal belongings all day long. We also build an open shed that can be used as a waiting area and socializing. And we also design a small area for exchange and donation in between the neighbors and the residents.
Besides the improvement of living conditions in the shelter, the project uses its condition to change the image of the place, thus contributing to the perception of its residents. It is representative for our interest in making visible marginal situations that remain outside of public concern.
How do we scale this? How do you work with governments and cities to make this a reality beyond what you've already done?
Basically, working with government can be really challenging, as you can imagine, because they don't have the tools to produce social innovation. And you have to explain every little step that you make. But when you find the openness, like we found in our project Substandard Plus, can be really a good thing to move forward. In terms of scaling, I think for us it's more a question of not how big the project can be, but how many people can we involve in, how or institution, for example, or people around in a certain area. So to extend the network of the project somehow for us.
In our experience, the key for public administration is to form partnerships and support initiatives coming from civil society and use these ideas to then upgrade public policy.
Right. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for starting the conversation, and we'll do more at the end. So let's turn not last, but definitely not least, to HerrmannCoufal. Let's meet Edward Herrmann, who explores our relationship to the do-it-yourself phenomenon. It shows that self-production does not have to be perceived only as a low-cost alternative, but an unaesthetic solution, but the opposite. It highlights DIY benefits for both individuals and society. So let's roll the video.
We are Eduard Herrmann and HerrmannCoufal. Our design studio develops commercial products such as public seating, furniture, or lighting. We also engage in speculative design and research projects delving deep into topics that interest us. Like any designer, we are also DIY enthusiasts. Following the footsteps of Enzo Mari and Viktor Papanek, we explore the DIY phenomenon, its possibilities, relationship to our culture, and its social aspect, like the call for sustainability and a shift to a nomadic lifestyle. As part of this ongoing research, we work on creating a lamp, utilizing only easily available materials and common tools. The making process should be easy enough so that almost anyone can do it, but also challenging enough so that they develop their crafting skills. This was also Enzo Mari's vision, to think with your hands, understand how things are made, and by doing so, to start thinking more critically about our consumer culture. The philosophy of DIY offers an alternative to industrial mass production. Given the right tools, materials, guidance, and determination, DIY projects can express their own beauty. A beauty not superficial, but one that can be also found in the object's meaning and purpose. We value the things we create with our own hands. We form a relationship with them, we are part of its story. Such objects still maintain their aesthetics and functionality. That is how the Tension lamp, and many others, were conceived. We continue to develop more products from ready-made materials, but it doesn't end there. We publish manuals, produce assembly kits, organize workshops and exhibitions. The project will be exhibited around the world and will grow with the help of local designers, so that after coming back to us, we are the ones learning from it.
So cool. Thank you so much, Edward. That was just beautifully done. So I love how you said think with your hands, right? And we value what we make with our hands. Talk to us about a little bit more about what you mean about bringing a human approach to products. How do humans relate to DIY?
Thank you and hello everyone. I think the most important aspect is that by making the things by ourselves, we are also creating the relationship for the object, and this relationship, it helps us to care about the thing and like the thing more than if we just buy it. And I think this is important when you think about how many things we buy and throw away very, very quickly. And by creating this relationship, we could keep them for a longer time. I also think that the things you do by yourself could be much cheaper. For example, this simple lamp, which was created on the video, it costs like, I don't know, $20. And there are many other aspects as well. Like you don't have to buy the thing in some packaging, you just buy the materials. And also we try to do it as simply as possible, so almost anyone can do it with the simplest tools we can find in our houses.
Yeah, I love it. And it's so beautiful at the same time. And I like that you said that you're creating kits, right? Or packages?
Yes, that's true. Because a lot of people told us that they are too lazy to go to the hobby market and buy the materials and so on, and they're too lazy to create the things by themselves. So they said they would love to have some kind of DIY kit, so they would have it half done. But of course, then there's the question, where's the limit or where's the border between the DIY and serial production? And we are still asking this ourselves, and we are trying to make some balance between. So we're working on it.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, so let's bring everyone in. So you're each in the design world, right? But this is so much more. What has it meant to each of you to branch out and explore some big ideas and the ability to make an impact on the environment and or society? I don't know. Lottie, can I call on you to start?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we as a design studio, we work on one of the big challenges of our society. As more than 4.2 billion people still lack access to safe sanitation. We're really honored to be able to contribute to this challenge and to help improve sanitary infrastructure where there is a huge lack of.
Yeah. Anna?
I also believe that this is our task as designers and architects to use our skills and to educate people. I mean, in terms of Sorgi, I just try to raise awareness for the heritage and just to put it out like sustainable materials, that there are existing sustainable materials, so that people can see that there are other ways to build than what they are used to. And I feel that this should be our task, to use our tools and our creativity to do something more than to create pretty objects.
Right. And what has been the response so far, especially Maria and George? I'm super interested. What has been the response to your project? Have you gotten any other feedback outside of Bucharest?
Yeah, for us, just having a response to what we're doing is very important, and it's part of our process. It's part of how we gain more knowledge about the situations that we engage with. In the case of Substandard Plus, the administration of the night shelter, one of the positive things that they noticed is that bringing the storage of personal belongings on the limit of the shelter in an exterior ventilated space made it easier to keep the interior dormitories more hygienic and improve in this way the living conditions in the shelter by this really small gesture.
Love it. Anna, Lottie, or Edward, any other response that you've gotten that's motivated you or made you think about what you're doing?
Well, a lot of people send us the proposals we did, they created the objects by the manuals we gave them, and they sent us the images. And I was really happy that everyone tried to incorporate some kind of their own personality into the object. That they didn't follow the instruction manual step by step, but they tried to improve it somehow. Or sometimes the improvisations went so good, but I think by doing this personalization of the object, I think they created this relationship even deeper. So for me, it was a nice response.
That's great. I love that they did their own spin on it. And maybe we can do a lightning round, because I know it's great to come up with big ideas. I mean, it's amazing to come up with great ideas, but it's not always easy. So what has been the biggest challenge or roadblock to success for what you've come up with? And then also, what has been the most memorable kind of takeaway or life lesson working on these projects? Anna, maybe we'll start with you.
Well, the biggest challenge for me is the size of the objects that I'm creating, because they are like heavy objects, and I really need to rely on a team, which I had to learn and I had to lead kind of way. And but we are managing right now. But it was like loads of teamwork. And the most memorable takeaway maybe that throughout the process there's so many changes, and it's just based on flexibility that you have to like be guided throughout all, especially with the pandemic, what's happening and everything. I feel everything is changing, and you have to be okay with plan B, plan C, plan Z, which are rerouting maybe the direction of the project, but it might direct you in a better way than you thought originally. But there's a lot of flexibility which has to be used in it.
I'm sure. Lati, what about you?
Well, biggest challenges, I think, adding to what Anna just said, COVID, I think, just made us realize how flexible one has to be on a daily basis. Before the COVID crisis, we were working on sites in South Africa, India, China, Nepal. Since a year, we are stuck in Austria and have to find new collaboration styles with local craftsmen to get this open design mode project any further. Another big struggle we still have as we are developing urine diverting toilets is the acceptance of urine as a fertilizer. But I think we're on a good path now. Most memorable takeaways, I think one aspect that also Edouard just mentioned is the moment where the people that you're working with have this moment where they take ownership and where they start working with you and feeding back to your process. I think one thing that is very special in all of our projects is this willingness of people that you design for, that they react and analyze, and you're then able to adapt and sort of integrate this know-how into your project.
Got it, love it. Edouard?
Yeah, I think what Lotte just said, that having the feedback from the people and also giving the feedback back it's very important during the process. And for us, the biggest challenge I think is that people have embedded in their mindset that design has to be something very expensive, luxurious, and something just aesthetically beautiful. But we believe in our studio, or not just in our studio, I think all of us here believe that design could have more into it, right? That it could have more qualities, not just aesthetic, but this relationship with the object or the other layers, that it could help someone, or that it could also make a comment on something. I think this is very difficult to explain to somebody that has the old mindset that design is just something very formal, and it's difficult to explain to those people that design could help solve very complex problems.
Yep, no, love that. And Maria and George?
Yeah, for us, one of the challenges that we face is finding the right balance of time and work between the design studio and an NGO,
Yep.
and continuing to define a socially engaged practice.
I mean, also receiving feedback is really important for us. Makes us moving forward, and it's also nice when you see how people are actually using what you design in real life.
Yeah. It's also inspirational. How do you, I mean, trying to solve some of these big issues can be staggering, right? And as you said, Edouard, getting people behind, that design can be more. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired? What keeps you going? Edouard, maybe I'll start with you.
Well, maybe what I said before, that the people started sending us the pictures of how they did the objects we proposed by themselves. And this really keeps us going. And also, when we did the workshops with people and instructing them how to do the objects, it was beautiful to see them do it by themselves and have the feedback at the moment. I'm sorry for my English, and having the feedback in real time. But now, of course, it's very difficult. Doing workshops online, it's impossible. A lot of people ask us to do the workshop online on the camera, but I think this, for us, is another big challenge, that we don't know how to do those haptical things online, and I think this is something we still need to learn.
Right. Well, at least maybe you can reach a larger audience that way, though, but definitely face-to-face is what we all hope for. Anyone else have anything else to add? Nope. Stumped you all. Okay. Well, I'm going to turn it back over to Adriana. Just what were the underlying themes and takeaways from this group that inspired you? Because you did say, when we were off camera, you mentioned there were a lot of entries, right, or submissions.
Right. There were a lot. There were at least 3 entries per country, I believe. And I think the most interesting thing is that you find in this group as well is that, this is design with empathy, I think. And it really works with a community, and it works for the community. And I think it is empowering that community to ultimately take action by itself. And I think that's really important, because all these projects can be scaled, right? So it's a really important thing to be able to scale projects globally like that. And this is something that we definitely had in mind when we selected the project, and all the designers did an amazing job with that.
Yeah. Must have been daunting to select it to this view.
It was really fun, I have to say, really fun. Awesome. So, yeah.
Well, you can see why they all were selected. Thank you so much. You're so talented and such an impressive group. Thank you to Adriana. Thank you to Edouard. Thank you to Anna, Latte, Maria, and George for being here. We're so humbled to be part of the Eco-Solidarity movement. And the good news is you can see more. You can see the latest at a new website, wanteddesign.online. From June 15th through August 15th, you can see the latest from Eco-Solidarity, so just a month from now. And also there's more Eco-Solidarity. Stay tuned for the next group, another 4 great, very talented group of designers, right back here at 10:50 Eastern. In the meantime, we're going to turn it over to Phil Robinson, who's back in the Moy green room. That's really pink, with a special guest. Over to you, Phil.